Well, friends, it is that time of year when next year's bills begin to come into focus. And tonight in Hastings, the City Council is considering a hefty 10% hike in water billing rates. That's in order to start reducing the presence of forever chemicals called PFAS in the drinking water. The city says this rate hike is unavoidable, with more almost certain to follow due to state regulations around those PFAS chemicals. Kent first reported on these regulations back in the spring, and city leaders have been sounding the alarm ever since.
Yeah, they have, Jana. During a public meeting back in May, they told residents that 5 of 6 wells tested above the EPA threshold and that cleaning them up would require not 1, but 3 new treatment facilities. The cost and timeline for phasing them in has improved slightly since then, but they say time and money are still not on their side. The city of Hastings has already started surveying the land that will be used to address its PFAS problem in drinking water, even though the land and the project's funding stream isn't quite official yet.
Our back is against the wall. It's essentially an unfunded mandate. We've got a $70 million project ahead of us and a deadline, basically a 4-month cushion. So we can't delay.
City planner Dan Waticha says the urgency began last April when Hastings was one of 23 Minnesota water systems found to exceed the EPA's new limits on the forever chemical in drinking water. And while Woodbury and other East Metro communities have received help paying for treatment upgrades thanks to a settlement with 3M years ago, Hastings was out in the cold until October.
We got some good news. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency determined that one of our 6 wells is eligible for funding through the state's East Metro settlement with the 3M companies.
Yes, that qualifies as good news because settlement money should help reduce the cost of the new plant from $27 million down to about $12.5 million.
We actually have a purchase agreement to buy the land right next door, so conveniently located, but that comes with some additional issues with it, relocating existing businesses.
You got to help Carbones find a new home?
We hope to. We definitely will.
He said they also hope to lessen the burden on the public. Instead of raising water rates by 37% on January 1st, they'll now go up by 10%, with another 4 to 12% increase in July, depending on those final costs.
But it could still be 20% this year. Still better than the 37 we were looking at.
In the meantime, he says they'll also keep pushing the state and 3M to look for other contamination connections to other wells, because with 2 more treatment centers on the horizon, the bill is only beginning to come due.
Next year, we're probably looking at the moment, another 35 to 40% increase next January, another increase in that 30 to 40% range the following January, and probably also something in the range of 25 to 30% in order to work with ongoing maintenance and operation of the facilities afterwards. So we're still looking at tripling our water rates over the next few years. We'll be among the highest in the metro and statewide.
Though the City Council will formally consider the 10% water rate hike tonight, it won't be officially voted on until a second reading later in the month. Jana.
And while it's not the best news, I'm sure for folks watching us tonight from Hastings, it's important that they get this information, that this isn't a one-time thing. It could be multiple times. Curious, Kent, does 3M, is there any possibility they could cough up more money here?
Well, that's what they're hoping for. As they test more of these wells, there were 5 of 6 again that tested above that threshold. If they can find direct links to 3M in some way, then they're approved for more money. He said they may also be going to the legislature for some bonding money to help foot the bill if they can. But again, they have to get started now. Right. So this increase is probably coming no matter what.
All right, Kent, thanks so much.